Hello everybody, me again. It's been a while since I've done a proper vlog video, so I thought I'd do one now while I had the opportunity to. At the moment, I'm still waiting for my appeal tribunal to get my employment support allowance back. It's taking them a bloody long time, but that's apparently because there are lots of people making appeals, which kind of makes sense because the government's trying to get as many people off of disability benefits as possible. But yeah, I've got they've started preparing for the tribunal. I've got the initial paperwork through. I just need to wait for a summons. And if you can hear that, I apologise, but one of my neighbours is having some work done. But anyway, other things that are going on at the moment. Next month, my parents and my brother are going to Africa again. I'm not going with them this time because, to be honest, I'm getting less and less inclined to go away to places unless I really want to. Whenever I went there, I'd always spend the first few days just wanting to go home. Until, I just get used to being there and it would be okay. But anyway, they're going to be volunteering at the Big Cat Sanctuary again in South Africa, and they're also going to be spending some time up in Zimbabwe visiting Victoria Falls for a few days. So I don't particularly like the idea of being home on my own for that long, because they're going to be away for nearly 2 weeks. So my aunt is coming to stay with me, and just to keep me company and make sure I'm eating properly and all of that, because I'm not great at living on my own and being independent and responsible for everything. But yeah, some things to show you. I bought this a few weeks ago at a charity sale. Hopefully you can see that properly because I can't see the screen on this camera. This is a 1965 General Post Office telephone model 706L. So yeah, made in 1965. This is one of the very few choices of telephone you would get when you signed up for a telephone contract with at the time, the post office. You get different colour choices. You get a choice of what would be put on the dial here. This blanking plate here is for a Redial button that this model doesn't have. This one is the two-tone green, but they also had two-tone brown and grey, cream, red, those kinds of colours. All works fine. Originally they would be hardwired to a box on the wall, but this one has been rewired so that it has a plug that will go into a modern telephone socket. This is the socket that British Telecom introduced in the very, very late 1970s, I think it was, or the early 80s. So yeah, I can make and receive calls on it. The only issue is that it doesn't have, it's not a tone phone, so I can't, if I call up the thing and there's a computerized system and you need to press 1 for this, 2 for that, whatever, I can't do that because it just uses pulse dialing. But anyway, it's a really nice phone. The bells on it are bloody loud. The first few times that it went off, I jumped. Yeah. I got a new laptop recently because the one that I had before, it's quite old now. It originally came out in 2005 or 2006. I mean, I have upgraded it substantially, but you can only upgrade these things so much, and it's just not really very particularly fast anymore. So yeah, this cost me £100. It's from 2013. It's a Dell Latitude business class system, and it's got a Sandy Bridge Core i3, which is a hyper-threaded dual core. I've upgraded it a little since I put in a bigger hard drive, and I also upgraded the memory from 4 gigabytes to 8 gigabytes. If you'll excuse me, just use that. And I've been saving up my money to get an Xbox One recently. It's not a brand new one, it's a refurbished one from the, of all places, Tesco, which is a big supermarket chain here. They have this outlet on eBay where if a customer returns something, you know, they look it over, they, you know, clean it up and do anything that needs to be done to it, and then because it's used they can't sell it new again, so they sell it as refurbished. So that should be arriving in a few days. Yeah. Recently my cats have both been diagnosed with some illnesses. Willow, who is the big dark tortoiseshell, she was diagnosed with diabetes, and so we're having to give her twice daily injections of insulin. The vet is still trying to work out the appropriate dosage for her. So you know, we're going back to the vet every couple, depending. Sometimes it's once a week, sometimes it's once every 2 weeks, depending on how she is. But yeah, just trying to work out what dosage she needs and everything. And also Scooby, which is the littler one, she was diagnosed with hypothyroidism, so she is has to have tablets twice a day. We figured out something was wrong with her because, you know, she was completely off her food, she was throwing up everywhere and always having diarrhea and everything. So I'd noticed for maybe you know, a year and a half, 2 years, that there was a lump on her throat in the same place that our last cat Sylvester had one, and she had hypothyroidism as well. But that's gone down quite a bit since she's been having the pills, and so, you know, they're obviously doing some good. So hopefully they'll both be okay. They both seem to be roughly back to their normal selves again now. Willow's still drinking a lot, but you know, that's just one of the side effects of diabetes, and her back legs are slowly getting worse, which is caused, nerve damage associated with feline diabetes. So yeah, that was fun. Yeah. At the moment, I'm not doing much because, you know, I'm not exactly an outgoing person. I prefer to just sit at home and do stuff. The only things I really go out for are my job centre appointments and my appointments for. When I was originally put on employment support allowance, I was put into the work-related activity group, and randomly assigned a local work-related activity provider company, who I would basically have to go for, and they would. Essentially, what they do is it's intended for people who have temporary disabilities, because, you know, if you're in the work-related activity group, the government expects that you'll be able to get a job at some point. And what they do is they provide you with services that you need. You know, so say if you've got I don't know. Say if you've got learning disabilities, they'll put you in special classes. If you've got a physical disability, they will help perhaps get you physiotherapy classes, and yeah, they have contacts in, you know, local businesses and whatnot, so that, you know, that people can get, you know, temporary work with them, or permanent work. I haven't had a great experience with them, because basically every person who was assigned to me as my sort of caseworker, as you might they left the company within a few weeks of me being assigned to them, so I had to start over from scratch every time. And I was put with this woman who, I was put with this woman at one point who, well, we don't get along very well at all. She likes to think she's an expert in, Asperger's and autism. Initially, she said that her son had Asperger's, and then a little while later, she said that her son's girlfriend had Asperger's, and since then, she's not mentioned her son having it. So I'm not quite sure what's going on there. So either she was lying, or both her son and his ex-girlfriend had Asperger's. Excuse me a moment. Sorry about that. Delivery. Yeah, anyway. So, I'm not... So, so regardless of who it was, whether it was her son or his ex-girlfriend who had it, I'm not like them. Everybody who has autism is different. And she seems to think that because she knew one person who had it, she knows everything about it, which is very frustrating. She seems to think that I can learn to be sociable, which, anyone who knows anything about, who really knows anything about autism will tell you that that's not possible. And she wants me to go to classes to help me with my socializing and my confidence. And she wants me to because at the time, because I was on ESA, they couldn't make me apply for any jobs. So, I told her, I don't want to apply for these kinds of jobs, and so on and so forth, because, with regards to working retail in shops, any kind of job that I did that had even the remotest kind of customer-facing role as part of the job, I was told that I was bad at it. So, there's no point in me trying to work retail, because, that will just end terribly. I also don't want to do admin work in an office, because doing admin work literally bores me to tears. I hate it with a passion, and yeah. So yeah, but now I'm on job seekers allowance. She could, however, because I'm in the process of appealing the decision to take away my employment support allowance. Basically, she's not doing anything at the moment, because even my advisor at the job centre says that while you're doing this appeal, you don't have to be to go for work, because that would affect your appeal and whatnot. So of course we weren't expecting the appeal process to take this long, because I put my appeal in at the beginning of February, and it's now June. But yeah, so but she said that once once the appeal has been done, and if I'm denied employment support allowance and I have to go on stay on job seekers allowance permanently, then basically she said that I'm going to have to go for any job that she wants me to, and I can't really refuse, because if I do, they'll take my benefits away, even if it's packing stuff in a warehouse, she said, which isn't exactly filling me with joy at the prospect. But yeah, I wish this damn appeal wasn't taking so long, but I've just got to wait until they give me a summons for it. Yeah, anything else to talk about? Well, we're going to Gibraltar again with my grandparents, like we did last year. I think it's in October. But I'll probably, if I make a video between now and then, I'll talk more about it then, because it's quite a ways off yet. Nah. I'm sorry, I can't really think of anything else to talk about it, so I'll just end it there. Be seeing you.